Good day. Welcome to Hunny Walia show. I'm your host, Sonal Fool. Um, Before we start, I just wanted to wish our viewers happy Ramadan, happy Baisakhi, happy Navratras. Wherever you are, what you are celebrating, our best wishes to you and the whole community. Good day. Assalamu alaikum. Adab. Sat Sri Akal. Jai Shri Krishna. Jai Mata Ki. Today we have our Honorable Minister Leela Aheer with us. She became the Minister for Multicultural Culture and Status of Women on April 30, 2019. With with the help of Minister of Community and Social Services Rajan Sahani, she also brought the Clare's Law in tandem with the Albertan community too. She also declares November 2019 as a Women's Entrepreneur Day. Welcome to our show, Ma.
Thank you so much, Sunny Ji. It's so lovely to see you, and I miss seeing you in person so much.
No, I agree. Last time we met at the Diwali function, it was a year and a half, and I saw you on the Bisaki festival and the Navratra festival online. But I'm looking forward to meeting everyone again when the restrictions are over. But Leela, before we proceed, but thanks a lot. You know, from Indian community, the mother, you have two beautiful kids, and to the politics, how this happened. Tell us the story.
It's an interesting journey. As you know, I'm a musician, so in my lifetime, I taught music. I was a professional musician and taught and was able to be involved in my community my whole life. And interestingly enough, as life came forward, I'd always been invested and involved in politics my whole life, Paji, but I never actually saw myself coming this direction. And then my husband actually brought it forward to me that I needed to run. He said there needs to be women representation, there needs to be ethnic representation. I had never seen myself in that role. And I had 5 choirs and I was teaching choir. And I came down from my studio and there was actually a room full of men sitting in my kitchen saying, "We have a candidate." And I'm like, "Great, who are we working for?" And they said, "You." So
Now I know where the secret is coming out when you were singing national anthem and all the different beautiful songs.
yeah, well, my background is I've been on stage since I was 2, so I don't know any different. I've been so blessed to have that be a piece of my life throughout my entire life, and so it just sort of moved really quickly from there. And when I received the nomination and went for it, I was probably in as much of shock as anybody else. And honestly, Baji, those gentlemen that were in my house that night had to chase me down for 2 months. I said no, I think, over and over again, and then I realized I have a responsibility to work with my communities and to come forward. I had this amazing opportunity as a woman, especially, to come forward and be able to take this. And then here I am sitting in front of you, so unbelievably privileged to be your Minister of Culture, Multiculturalism, and the Status of Women. And our lens is on absolutely everything, Baji. And to be able to work with our ethnic communities, I mean, my goodness, I just can't imagine a bigger privilege or a more fortunate human than I am.
No, you are a wonderful person. Not as a mother, as a politician, as a business lady, and now I know you are a singer too. So your soul and your voice, everything is beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Leela, question, pandemic has affected everyone. Our better part, our community cannot be built if the female was not there, or the mothers or sisters or daughters were not there. We owe lots to them. So how do you think pandemic has affected them?
On so many levels. And you're right, Paji. The women in our communities are those go-getters. They're the community builders. They're the voice of how we listen and our mental health and our collective ability to be able to work through things. And whether that is women that are working from home in the family space, which is busy and crazy, because right now, especially in our culture, we live in multi-generational families. So many of the women in our culture, not only are they taking care of the children, but they're also homeschooling now, on top of that, if they're home from the pandemic, plus running the household, plus taking care of senior members of our family who are vulnerable, plus doing everything else that goes on with it. Then we have also the working women who are out in the workforce who are doing the work plus that, right? It has been it's been unbelievable to see the resilience of women, not only in our culture, but just in the province. And it has disproportionately impacted women right across the board. And I just want to say thank you. It has been such an unbelievable time for us to see what we're made of, Baji, and what we're capable of doing. I also want to thank our strong fathers and brothers and, male counterparts who have stood shoulder to shoulder with the women in our communities, working together and figuring this out. And did you know, Baji, women are 51% of the population in Alberta. Per capita, we have more women in small business than anywhere in the country. So it has been extraordinary to see how women have reacted, the ability to navigate this and to keep their businesses up and running, or helping out with the family business, as it happens a lot of time in our culture, plus everything else that is put upon them. So I just want to say thank you to Albertans in general, and especially in our culture, for the work that's been done. And on top of that, in our areas where many of our family members are working 3-4 jobs, right, Paji? And they're also frontline workers. They're right in the midst of all of this. They're caretakers. They're doing all of that. How amazing is this, that our group of people, the resilience, the strength that they have, I hope that they know how much we as a government appreciate and love them for the work that they do and the incredible kindness and compassion that is shown from our culture and the diversity that is brought forward. I have no words, really. It's truly humbling to speak about it. And I can't wait to ramp back up again and see what we're capable of post-COVID.
And Leela, I 100% agree with you when you say our community or our culture, they are not only a business person, they are working outside, but they look after also. And I should say, I'm ashamed also, because my wife works full time. My daughter is a student, she's full-time student. But I am so spoiled, I will not go to the kitchen and take the food for myself. I will clean the kitchen, but cooking is not my like it's
I'll take a cleanup any day. That works.
But that's very good. Like you have, I really appreciate you are saying that is a teamwork. But when we talk about the teamwork, is a federal, provincial, municipal all work together. Now, the federal budget has just come out. As you mentioned, a lot of people have quit the job, or they laid off, or they are working from home, could be mother or a father. How federal budget is going to affect, what's your plan are about the people or the parents are working from home or they stay home?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different things in there, Paji, and it's a really good piece. Not a lot of people talk about this part of it. What will be interesting, I don't have any specifics for you at this point in time. I've read over the budget backwards and forwards, and I have some meetings with my federal counterparts here in the next little while to try to figure out what that looks like. But the truth is that the budget that has come down from our federal counterparts has to work for Alberta. Alberta disproportionately pays out in equalization payments and transfer payments at a humongous level. These dollars, what we have to remind Albertans and ourselves actually quite often, is that the money that is coming from the feds is Albertans' money. And so it's one thing to put things in a budget of how you'd like to see dollars, for example, like in childcare and other things. One of the things that'll be very interesting is some of their work they're doing on domestic violence, family violence, care for people that are in domestic situations and all of that. It'll be interesting to see how those dollars come forward. But what we're mostly interested in making sure that it has an Alberta focus and that works for our families. So as we go on and we have these conversations with our federal counterparts, we'll make sure that we share, as much as we can with the public about how it is that the dollars are actually flowing in Alberta and how it works with our families, because Alberta is different. And the dollars that are coming back to us belong to the people of this province and should be able to be utilized in the best way for our people in this province. So I'm really looking forward to the discussions with our federal counterparts to see sort of what their vision is about this. And one of the things I'd like to mention is for those of us who have spouses that stay at home and look after our families full time, while some of us, like in my household, my husband is home all the time. He does all the cooking. He does all the cleaning with my 2 sons, takes care of me, like how your wife takes care of you. My husband takes care of me this way, Paji. And I am so, so grateful that I can go out and do what I need to do. So it's really important for me that those dollars reflect my family. They reflect your family, that the dollars are used in a way that we can all experience the growth of our economy and who we are as a people together, and that reflects this province. So that's really important, because we're all about recovery. Let's get vaccinated, let's get recovery, let's get people back to work, let's get back into life, let's hug, let's meet for festivals, all of these kinds of things. So, I just we're very, very invested in the people of this province, no matter how your family looks. So those dollars need to reflect the values of Alberta.
Okay, totally off the topic question or a request. If your husband is giving a classes how to cook, I'm there. I'm the first student. He will have it.
You know what? As soon as we're allowed, I actually posted, Amanda, can you send the video of Malkeet and I cooking together to Paji? With my husband and I did an aloo chole video together of making his mom's.
Increasing my appetite.
And he is the best cook on the face of the earth. Like, honestly, like, I'm pretty good. I'm actually really good. He's amazing. And we cook together. I think it's been actually very good for our marriage, because we've had to switch roles completely, because he also runs a business outside of this. But he's home a lot more than I am, Paji. The man is a rock star. He is the epitome of what families do under certain circumstances. You sometimes have to switch around, and he has a wife that is running from one end of the province to the other, and he's just beautiful. And it's a perfect example of an Alberta family that comes from a cultural background and has learned to shift and fix and switch and change. Like, that's what we're all about.
It's good teamwork. Now, as we are talking about the family, Leela, the vulnerables, and the pandemic has actually affected them. Mental health, we talk about it, but we have no measures how to identify how much pressure we have, stress we have, what we are going through because of staying at home, kids being home, financially. A lot of things are happening, right? So as a minister and as a government person, how you are helping or supporting the mental health portion for the vulnerables?
Yeah, and Baji, can I first of all say, being able to speak to you in media like this with my brother about mental health, you have no idea how important it is for our culture to hear somebody like yourself, who is valued so much in our community, to have a discussion about this. The stigma that comes along with mental health. It is very difficult for people to talk about. And the fact that you even bring it up and have the conversation about, bless your heart. 90% of mental health comes from education and the ability to know how to reach out. So there's a couple of things that have been done. There's been a lot of money invested. Initially, at the beginning of COVID, Paji, our province put more money ×2 than all of the other provinces put together into mental health. That's been matched since then by other provinces. The reason that happened is because we knew that those services were going to be needed. And it's not only just about services, but Paji, it's about having them in all of the languages that are necessary, right? So they're translated. One of the things that we're coming up to is an anniversary of something called the One Line, which comes from our ministry collectively with Minister Rajan Sani. And the One Line is a line for sexual assault and domestic abuse and all sorts of different things, but it's in 177 languages. So it helps for all of us to be able to have a place to do that. But also mental health is about helping also put families back together, right? We have situations where things fall apart. It's very, very easy to be judgmental. It's very difficult to look at from the aspect that there's many things that contribute to what is happening in a family, to the mental health, to whether it's a man or woman, whether you're LGBTQ2S+, any parts of the community, from racial communities to minorities. Like we have to think about that there's a cultural sensitivity that goes to all of these cultures as well too, and the difficulty to talk about it. So we've put dollars into it, but really what has to happen now, Badi, is in our communities, we have to be willing to have the conversation. So what I'm putting together for you actually is a list of the help that is available, the languages that is available, and so you can share with the people who listen to your program. And please know that you can reach out to us anytime. We want to have this conversation. We're not afraid to have the conversation. In fact, we're honored to have the conversation. Again, I bring my husband into this conversation because he's been through this. He's been through this entire gamut. he talks about it very freely and openly about his own process and what he's been through. And from Punjabi man to be able to have this conversation takes extreme amount of strength and ability to be able to speak to his brothers about what goes on, right? So I share this with you because I want you to know that none of us is free from the absolute horrific the part of mental health that we don't know how to deal with sometimes. So we have a lot of supports out there, but I think sometimes it's getting the information out to everybody about what that is and how to approach it, and for people like you and me to be able to reach out to our community members and say, it's okay, we're here to listen to you, we're not here to judge you, we get it, we understand it, we're here with you.
I 100% agree with you. Like, I give my salutes to your, or, all hats off to your husband too, accepting it. Like, we need a help as a community person, as a Punjabi guy, or, from India. The guys don't come forward to accept we have a issue, and then I will just want to echo what you said. Mental health is not only for poor, rich, male, female, small family, big family. We have seen even the royal families members have come forward and talk about the mental health. So I encourage everyone, who have a question about the mental health. If you do not have any, you can contact the ministry office, and you are anonymous. They will give you all the help they can. And if you are not sure, you can contact us also. We will pass you the information one more time. Uh, please, 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 if you have an issue, because when we have a medical issues, it's easily diagnosed, it's easily visible. But mental health, stress level is not visible. Do you agree? What your thoughts are on this, Leela?
I think you said it perfectly. And again, Faji, to come from a well-known gentleman in our community from you, it means more than anything that I could say, because you're giving our community the privilege and the ability and the safety to have the conversation. That means more than anything. And from a government perspective, obviously I'm going to support everywhere I can, but you talking about it, that's what matters. You're the one who's making the difference. And then we're going to help provide as much information as we can.
Thank you, ma'am. Always there for your support. So, Leela, now because the oil, COVID, and now the vaccination, a hot topic, we cannot proceed further and not talking about. Would you like to give us an update from the government side?
Oh my goodness! So thank you for asking about this, because I'm so excited. I got my AstraZeneca shot on the 20th. Felt like $1,000,000. I had no pain, nothing like that. I think I was walking on cloud nine because I felt like I'd done something great for, to protect my family and my family members. And I can't wait to see my family, because honestly, my mom and dad-in-law live in a house right across the street from me, and my niece and nephew, and I wave at them. And actually, I'll show you this, Baji. Look at my mummy sent over
I'm coming over.
I
Save it
know.
for me.
Look at that. And pickle from India, gungara.
Oh
So,
my God.
I know. So
Leela, Port speak up.
I'll feed you through the TV screen. But but that's the thing, is like, it's one step closer to being able to hug my mummy. I can't wait. I love her so much, and my father-in-law. And the thing is that one thing, Paji, is that we always talk about the negative side of things. Obviously, we've lost family members to this. In India, I've lost 4 family members.
I'm really sorry.
I know, and thank you so much. And it just really hits home, right? When you realize that it doesn't matter. It's the same as mental health. There's no socioeconomic, it's just everywhere. And so, we have 19,000 active cases right now in Alberta and 116 in intensive care. But if I could, I have to give my premier a total shout out for managing this the best that under the circumstances across the country, keeping our businesses open to the best of his ability, but managing healthcare and our ability to take care of people in this province. I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of the man. Doesn't sleep. He's constantly overwhelmed with trying to figure out how to manage this, and especially because we don't get enough vaccinations, right? We need more from the federal government in order to get us all vaccinated. So to you and to my premier, I'm so proud of the work that he's done on this. And honestly, like we have 518 in hospital right now, but if everybody can just keep the foot on the gas pedal, Paji. Keep their foot on the gas pedal. We're almost there. The AstraZeneca vaccines are there for ages 40 and up. Go get vaccinated. This is our ticket out. And we can put this in our rear view mirror. And we're about 177,000 or so total cases. But you know what never gets reported? Guess how many have recovered from that? 155 plus thousand people have recovered from COVID. So let's just keep going. Let's keep strong. We have almost 2 million people tested in the province. We did 17,542 tests yesterday. We're going to continue testing. We're testing faster and more than probably anybody else. So, our numbers are higher, but we're keeping up with that testing. We want you to know the truth about what's going on so that we can work collaboratively together, because really it's up to us. It's up to us whether we get out of this or not. It's up to us if we can keep masking and keep our distance just a little bit longer. And then we're going to have a hug fest as soon as this is all done.
No, Leela, I really 100% agree with you, because when you talk about the mental health, and we will not be going to get out unless we are um, we are working together as a team, get the vaccination and get out. Unless it's done as a team, it's not going to happen. Leela, you also mentioned about the Premier's efforts to keep the business running, small businesses, nonprofit organizations, theater people, trucking people, they're all small businesses, right? And Premier and the government is doing more and more to help these small organizations, small businesses, females, males, stay at home. You want to give up an update on this, because I recently heard the Premier has announced is giving more grants to the small businesses and the nonprofit organizations. You want to give a little bit more on it?
Sure. And it's like, I know, and believe me, like when we look per capita at what small businesses have lost as a result of less capacity and all these kinds of things. If I may, Faji, I just need to give a shout out to our small businesses who've maintained their resilience throughout all of this. It's just unbelievable. And we've seen their ability to just pivot and switch, especially, if you look at restaurants, taxi cab drivers, tourism industry, all of this, their ability to try and work within these protocols, because of course they care deeply about their clients to keep them healthy and safe. And so like you said, we're all working on this together. So we reopened what is called the SME grant, small and medium enterprise grants, for another round of funding. It's $10,000, and it's just to help bridge over the next little while, especially if they were impacted by the last when we went back to the phase 1 of the opening. So and especially because certain businesses were impacted directly, like gyms and restaurants, but we've also added in taxi cabs, ride shares, and hotels into this one, because the hotels, right, as have been heavily impacted. If you're wanting to talk about women who've been disproportionately impacted, tourism industry, that's huge. We are huge players in the tourism industry. So it's absolutely imperative that we make sure that these businesses can hold their head above water until we can get back into life as soon as possible. So, and just so you know, since 2020, 97,000 businesses have participated in taking over $600 million in funding since 2020. And that's even with the Premier trying to keep businesses open as much as possible. You can imagine in other provinces where they've had complete and total shutdowns of their businesses, how those businesses are doing. So this is a group effort, Baji. It's a group effort between the government, healthcare, and the businesses that they've managed to keep going as well. So huge kudos to all parties involved, because this is not possible with just one organization. It's been right across the board, and we just want to see these businesses bounce back as quick as possible. The best solution for small business is to get vaccinated, get out of COVID, and get back to work.
I 100% agree. And, I salute with you, as you said, to all our frontline people, from postal workers to the people working at the grocery store, nurses,
the truck drivers, the cleaners, the gas station. Yeah, all of them.
All of them. And I encourage everyone, as Leela said, our minister said, please book your vaccination, get it done so we can pass this and move forward and have a hug festival. Leela, in the end, would you like to give, what message would you like to give to our viewers?
I just want to say how much how privileged I am. Sorry, I get very emotional. Um, I still have to pinch myself sometimes that I get to sit here in front of you, Baji, as your minister. Um, I've never seen, I've grown up in this province. So we have 1.6 million volunteers and 26,400 nonprofits. So the generosity and spirit of this province is something I grew up with. I grew up volunteering in my own community with my mom and dad. The level of volunteerism, kindness, compassion, love that has been showered on people this year, in this what could be considered a very dark year, is the reason I get up every single day. It's because of people like you who spend the time in the media to give our families hope, is because of people in our community who have seva and give food out despite COVID to make sure our seniors and our families are taken care of. Because we provide spiritual guidance even in the worst of times to people who need it. Because you're willing to have a difficult conversation around mental health, sexual assault, domestic violence, women in the workforce. These are kinds of things that I could have only dreamed of having a conversation about. And here I am having one with you. To me, that is the biggest privilege of my life, no matter where I end up in my life, elected, not elected, minister, not a minister. These days will, for me, have forever defined for me the true character of the people that I know and love in this province. And it's something I will carry with me for the rest of my life, and will be forever grateful that I, as hard as this has been, that I got to be a minor piece and a participant in trying to help put my communities back together. And I can only do that with your help and your ability to reach in the community in ways that I can't. So it's just a very deep and humble thank you from a public servant that is honored to serve you. And I'm very grateful that that you would be willing to take the time with me to give me an opportunity to talk to our beautiful, beautiful family. So thank you.
You're always welcome, ma'am. And you know one thing, Leela, I should be saying, I have to say thank you for giving me a privilege to talk to you. And and thank you for sharing your your experience, your knowledge, your passion with us. You are, I think you are, politicians, we say they are paid, but I think they are the best volunteers we could have. If we calculate the money they make, they are not even making $2 an hour, because how much work you put, and your family, you leave everyone behind, and your family, your parents, everything, and come forward and take a heat. So, I think you guys are the best volunteers.
Thank you, my friend, and I love you more than words. And I can't wait for our Hug Festival to begin. And thank you again for this tremendous privilege to speak to your public. We know what a tremendous service that you do, and I'm truly privileged to spend this time with you. I can't wait to chat with you again.
Thank you, ma'am. You are watching Hunny Walia shows. We have Leela Aheer with the Minister of Women, and with us, she has shared tremendous knowledge, experience with us. I encourage everyone to go get the vaccination as a team, so we can put the province ahead. We can go forward. You are watching Hunny Walia show. I'm your host, Sonal Fool. Take your leave. Assalamu alaikum, Sat Sri Akal, Adab, Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Mata Ji.